case you're not sure where you're at on YouTube right now.
You could be confused in that we got Pancake Breakfast Club represented here.
Correct.
We've got How's It Doing Garage represented. We got UBT represented.
Yep.
I'm going to kill that fan as good as it feels. Yeah.
Then can you get
Yep.
So we do get sound.
is she
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
stand
we're
there
all
with
like
some
that.
palm leaves or something to keep the breeze going?
Yeah. For real. It's going to get hot. You're not going to have to worry about us talking too long. It's going to get warm.
Aren't we supposed to have like a tree or greenery somewhere in here?
Wow, we should have brought a plant between two ferns.
That's correct. Between the ferns, isn't it? Mike's pants are dirty.
Yeah.
It's working, man.
Yep.
So we
This is
are
typical Mike
get
Day.
sound.
Oh,
She
yeah,
gonna
we're
stand
all
there
like
with some
that.
palm leaves. Glad you got a clean hat. Yeah.
It's going to get hot. You're not going to have to worry. So, special edition of UBT here, not because of the people in the frame, but just because of how we're talking about some subjects today. We're typically in the shop working, as these guys at home know, but today we got a couple things we need to talk about, and appreciate you guys jumping on the couch here. Before we actually jump into the meat of the subject, what you guys been working on? I'm gonna start with Churchill, and we're gonna work this way, Mike.
Okay.
But what you guys been working on in truck world? Like, let these folks know. Let these folks know at home.
So currently, I'm not working on a truck. I'm working on a Galaxy.
Okay.
64 Galaxy. Does that sound right? That's like a
65.
It was 65. Okay, yeah. Me and Trey are bagging a 65 Galaxy, just kind of side project right
Very
now.
cool.
So that thing should be completed this weekend, and then that's what I'm currently working on.
But you did make a truck purchase recently.
I did,
That I
yeah.
think is a pretty special truck purchase. Are
Yeah.
you willing to tell these folks at home
Yeah,
about
for sure,
that?
for sure. So we bought Lizzie a '94 OBS truck, extended cab. She's pretty excited about it. Lizzie's my daughter. I'm sure you guys have seen her, Car Show Lizzie on Instagram. But she's always
she's-
around.
How old is she?
She is 14, about to be 15 in 2 months.
Scary.
It is.
Scary.
It is. Hopefully she don't drive like her mama.
Who's off camera,
Hey,
by
look.
the way.
Hey, look, if she drives like her, she will be an expert.
So a Galaxy, you got the OBS going for your daughter.
Yep.
What's any update on Rust Turd?
No, not really. It just sits there until I pull it out and drive it, and that's about it.
We got some EFI to put on that thing
We do.
eventually.
We
We've had
have-
it for like a year.
I have a lot of parts to go on that thing. I have all new chrome. I have EFI to go on it. I have the slash tub panel to put on it.
Yeah.
The driver's side shave panel. Shoot, I've got a whole list of parts that we have to put. I have a cam for it. I've got all new gaskets to rebuild the engine and stuff. So freshen all that up. So looking forward to doing that in the future. But right now, it's running reliably, and I'm kind of liking it that way.
And it's summertime, so it's kind of like,
For sure.
just get it out. It's going to be hot driving it anyway. Why?
Yep.
Oh, it's got vent windows. Nothing
Oh, that's
with
that
vent windows.
255 then.
Yeah.
Man,
255 AC.
that's the best thing they ever had. They should have never taken that out of
I
the
agree.
truck.
Except for when they whistle when they have bad gaskets. Or they whistle when they have new gaskets.
Yeah. Or
That's
they don't
rough.
close because they're too tight.
Yeah. So you're getting water in while you're trying to get a little air too.
Yeah.
What you been working on, Wesley?
So it's really been about a week or so ago, maybe 2. 64 Chevy Suburban.
Mm-hmm.
Mike brought it in here. We originally narrowed the rear end for a set of 10-inch wheels, but then I bought a set of 12-inch wide wheels.
Yep.
So we narrowed it again, and they got all the back spacing. All the back
So
spacing.
that means you got all the lip.
So we narrowed it a total of 11 inches.
The rear axle.
Yes.
You do that, Mike?
Yeah, Mike did it.
Yeah.
So we narrowed it 11 inches, put a Watts link in it, keep it centered up and all that,
Yeah.
and put a new hood on it from AMD. So.
And it's got race lines, right? Aren't they race lines?
Yes, race line burst.
Yeah. We've all turned into the race line club here. We all at least have a set of race lines.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Some of us have multiple sets, or at least some extras, like Mike.
I've got
Here,
one,
Mike.
1.5 cents.
Got 1.5 sets.
Yeah, 1.5 cents.
So what you gonna do with the bird? Like, what's the plan for it?
So, in my mind, I wanted to go I wanted to go either twin turbo, supercharged. I want John Force burnout, like fun truck.
In a 60 Suburban. I like that.
But then, the money aspect takes over, and you're like,
Always.
well, I guess let's see how this goes. So that's what I'd like to do with that.
Just make it a cruiser, but burnout machine at the same time.
Yeah, I want it to be able to the family to get in it and cruise it to a show.
Yeah, that's the biggest appeal to me for that bird. For
Yeah.
anything with a back, any classic with a backseat.
Well, I want that. Like that will probably be. I really want it to be the nicest thing I've ever built.
Yeah.
Like interior. It's a '64 Suburban. It's got a '64 Chevy 2 dash in it, and I want to do '64 Impala SS interior.
Dude.
Like buckets, center console, the back seat. When Mike was before everything, when Mike was leaving, I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to sheet metal everything in the back, like really make it
Yeah.
nice and just different. You
Yeah.
know. So.
Well, you still can.
Oh yeah.
We'll
We
get
just
to
have
all that,
trade.
but you still can.
Yeah. Just have to take a little road trip.
What you got going on, Mike? I know what you've been working on, but tell these folks at home, you've been working on all sorts of stuff.
Well, recently we finished up this two-door 97 Tahoe over here that you can see in the background. Then about a week ago, I finished up a 79 K5 Blazer for my brother. We did a little LS swap on it, drop. Basically did a whole restoration on the whole drivetrain. The frame was pretty much all restored. The body was still crappy, how we keep them.
We like to put money in,
Yeah.
all the places but the body.
We just make sure the tire don't fall off. We don't care about the window rattling. So.
That's right.
He come and picked that up here a few days ago, drove it home, 15 hours all the way to Michigan.
So rad.
Yeah, he called me today. He really enjoyed it. He had a good time.
And the thing sounds good. It sounds a lot like Uncle Buck.
Well,
Reminded me
it's
of.
got the same muffler as Uncle Buck does. The exhaust, granted the K5 is a little shorter than Uncle Buck, but the exhaust is run the same way.
Yeah.
Down the frame and all that. So, it has a 6.0 with a 4L80 in it. So,
Tried and true.
yeah. It was just Dakota digital gauges, just some hooker headers or hooker cast manifolds on it, and so that those two things are the last two things that I've worked on.
You do have you did make some major progress on Uncle Buck though, and we should stop, or I should at least mention, not stop, but I should at least mention that these three, not only have they been a major part of United by Trucks, but they also have their own YouTube channels, Pancake Breakfast Club and How's It Doing Garage. We'll have all those links down in the description, so you can see a lot of the stuff that they're talking about that's not living on UBT, that's living on those channels. And I think it's some really, really awesome work. So what made me think of that is you just did a bunch of stuff to your own personal truck. So
So Uncle Buck, you all know Uncle Buck. My 86 Patina C10 had a 5.3 in it with a 4L60, and about 2 months ago we ripped the motor out and I put a L96 6.0 with a 6L90 in it, BTR cam, stage 2 LS cam, Circle D 2000 stall converter in it.
3,000 stuff.
Yeah, 3,000. 2,800 to 3,000.
2,800, 3,000.
Yeah.
I was like, these folks are gonna eat you alive on 2,000.
Yeah.
3,000.
I've been looking at Duramax stall converters.
Fair enough.
And then it probably don't look like much to most people, but the engine, I spent a ton of time and a ton of money and made the engine look. It's probably the best looking engine I've ever put in anything.
That engine looks incredible. I don't know what you're talking about.
The engine does look incredible. Sorry guys, we got some noise out back. Our landlord is here doing all sorts of stuff outside. So if you hear some background noise, that may be what it is. We're gonna keep moving.
So we did a lot of work to the motor. We did a full Holley catalog on it. We did a Holley mid-rise intake on it, fuel system. Did a Holley mid-mount kit on it. Painted it Zeus bronze, which is a 2020 Corvette color.
And it looks outstanding on against that blue.
Yeah, it's we did a full, not like a full interior. We did a freshen up the interior, new carpet, sound deaden, new sound system. So we did a ton of work to it. And then I had 22 by 12 race
This is my
lines.
favorite part. This is what I wanted you to talk about.
Yeah. And then we had 22 by 12 race lines, and I narrowed the diff 5 inches and fit those on it. And then we did AMD, widened tubs in the rear. And yeah, so it got finished, tuned, drove around, and then put on a trailer. And now it's gone to its new home. So. We started so much shit.
Well, it was just audio because the cameras weren't on, so.
Hang on, I gotta get this.
Robbie's gonna hit us with some blackmail. 5 years from now.
Yeah. You think this conversation is where all blackmail's coming from? I literally have like 4.5.
There's how many hours do you think of?
We just crossed. Well, I'm not even going to tell you that, but it's years of footage.
Yes.
Years of footage.
Wow.
So, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We talked a little bit about what everybody's got going on. A lot of my stuff and the stuff that you're up to revolves around your big news. And why don't you tell everybody what's up?
Yeah, so about 8 years ago, my wife graduated college. She has a PhD in psychology. And she took a position with Home Depot. And we moved down here. And she was working in the corporate office, Home Depot. Well, when COVID hit, they made her 100% remote. So they said that she would never come back to the office, blah, blah, blah. So about a year ago, her dad got sick. And he's been not doing good. He needs some help with some hurt, from the family and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, my nieces are getting a little older on that. So we've decided that we're gonna pack this whole, shindig up and move back to Michigan, where I grew up. So that's what I've been up to for the last 2 months. The addition of working on customer stuff, trying to get projects done, trying to get my own stuff done because it's hard enough moving a shop 15 hours away. So I had a bunch of parts and projects and everything that I had, stacked up over the years and stuff I was going to get to and never did. But so I decided to do.
I was going to say, if anything, this motivated you to some of your own projects done,
Yeah,
right?
so I got a chance to do a bunch of cool stuff while I was just basically trying to get rid of parts that I had piled up because I didn't want to move them. So, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. And yeah, so this is, what is it, the 24th?
Yeah, so it's right here at the end of May. And
Yeah, so where it'll be June 2nd, I'll be in Michigan for good. So we got about another.
Yeah, for good.
Yeah,
No.
definitely have to
He's
come
only
back.
in Michigan for like a year or two. Then he's coming back. He's
Well-
gonna hate the snow. It's stupid there. You need to come back here. And this is home now. Sorry, Mike.
I got to say this, you three in particular, I mean, there are others in, all in this orbit that are very close friends, but you three are really close friends. Churchill, you're the reason that I even know Mike,
Right.
and I have some stats I want to break out here. I'm going to get a little sentimental about some of this stuff because while Mike is moving away, it's not because of fractured relationships. It's because of I'm going to put it in my own words, and you can just tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it's because of a need back home, a personal decision that you and your wife have made. It's super admirable, and we're going to miss you, but you're also not getting rid of us.
Yeah.
We are, if anybody knows at home, we travel this country all the time for no good reason. Now we have a good reason to go to Michigan,
We have a good reason to go bend wheels at,
It's true, yeah, and terrible roads up there.
Only in the summer.
Yeah, ain't going to summer.
But this is probably something we should have been doing periodically anyway, just sitting down, just talking about what's been going on. But I felt like this is a pretty good way to let the world know that's what's going on, at least UBT world, that's what's going on. And really, we want to send you off with a bunch of well wishes, and best wishes, and really just, all the favor coming your way, man. I'm going to tell everybody at home, you've already got a place, which is a really cool place up there. What is you don't have to say the exact town, but what is the area that you're moving back to?
Mecosta.
Mecosta.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So you Michiganders or folks who are familiar with that,
Show them where it's at in the
Show 'em
middle.
where
Yeah.
it is. You gotta do the
Heather's over
hand
here
thing.
showing the
You gotta do the hand thing.
but we just before we even go any further, I appreciate everything you've done. I mean, there will be a gigantic, and these folks know it at home. I don't even have to say it. There will be a very big gap in all of us in our productivity in getting the things done, our own projects done, with you back in Michigan. But I'm super stoked for you. I mean, I really don't even know how else to say it. I mean, right? Guys?
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, as much as y'all want to give him hell about
Right.
coming back, he might not.
I know.
So
We're definitely gonna miss him.
we
But
just got to go see
we
it.
definitely wish him the best. For sure.
Yeah.
And it will go big up there for sure.
Yeah.
Did
Especially when they figure out he can do rush repair.
Oh my gosh. Let's try
You
not
can have
to
so
put
many
that out into the
2013s.
That's the most expensive labor rate at the house doing garage.
That gets a 50% hourly premium put on top, right?
And I am slow as the Dickens.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
the
so-
thing that these guys all witnessed on Mud was a one-time thing. That was a for real
I'm
one-time
pretty
thing.
sure you did that full rust repair, floor and all, in like a week.
I'm not sure it was that long.
That was fast.
But I do want to just say thank you. Thank you to all three of you. But this is about you, Mike.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, thank you, Mike. I wanted to, if you don't mind, run through some key stats. I dug back through the channel. I really wanted to know what kind of impact you specifically had on the channel. I mean, I can feel it, but I have a terrible memory. So I really want to go back and look at some dates, look at some metrics, look at some of the stuff that I think some of the guys at home may care about, but that it definitely put a little bit of a Mike Howe imprint all over UBT. So I'm gonna start with a couple of questions, and then we're gonna get into some memory stuff because I want to hear some of the memories, some of your favorite memories with Mike, you two in particular, because of such a long history. But first, before we do that, did y'all know each other before you moved down here?
No.
Did not know each other. You're all in No Regrets,
Correct.
the car club,
Correct.
but you did not know each other personally before you moved down,
The
right?
Well,
first,
they weren't even in no regrets.
Oh, not even then.
No.
Okay.
Jamie and I.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't think I knew that.
the first time I saw anything with these guys, Mike posted on Georgia Mini Truck page or something on Facebook, and he said, "I got a cold beer for anybody that can come over and unload my toolbox." And I wasn't available at that point. I just remember
And you don't
seeing
drink
it.
beer.
And I don't drink beer, but I'd still come help the guy out. But I wasn't available. A couple other guys helped him out, thank goodness. Otherwise, it'd still be on the truck.
No, Mike would have, knowing Mike, he'd have manhandled it off some way himself.
For sure. But no, that was the first time I remember seeing anything of Mike.
What about you, Wesley? Since we're on this topic, I figure we'll just go ahead and run through it. What's
I
your
met
first
him
memory
at-
of Mike?
We were having a club meeting at up off 41. What's that Mexican restaurant? Huey
Huey
Louie's.
Louie's.
Yeah, Huey
Huey
Louie's.
Louie's. And here comes Mike and Anna.
Yeah.
So naturally, nothing against Anna. Naturally, they come bebopping up in the Jimmy.
Yeah.
Mike's driving.
Yeah.
So I walk up and I'm like, "Hey man, I like the truck. Tell me about it."
I know where this is going.
Not even his.
Yeah. That's right.
So Mike bebops along and Anna tells me everything about it.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah. And we had rolled up in the minivan. That's when I had little kids.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, so you moved down here. When did you say that was?
April of 2016.
And when we say down here, we're in the Metro Atlanta area, guys. I think most of you guys know that, but if you're looking for a point of reference, we're all in the Metro Atlanta area. So moved from Michigan down to Metro Atlanta. Anna went to work for Home Depot. You got a job actually around here using a lot of the skills that you use on cars and
Yeah.
trucks. But
Yeah.
can you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I first moved down here, I thought, it's kind of selfish of me, but I thought since my wife, or girlfriend at the time, was a PhD, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to goof off. You know? Well, lady's gonna look at
Heck yeah, let's go to Georgia.
yeah, she's making all kinds of money. Well, then we figured out, cost of living is a little bit different down here.
For sure.
It is up in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. So I didn't have a job for about a month, and then I was like, all right, I got to get a job. So I got a job. pulled up Indeed, and there was a job position for a concrete pump company here. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, you know what I'm talking about. But they had a job opening for a pipe welder, and I'm a pretty decent-ish pipe welder, so I applied for it. It paid really well. I went to an interview, and I interviewed with some corporate guy who had no idea the first thing about pipe welding. He had no idea what he was even interviewing me for. And I guess I just talked enough.
You just killed him with your personality.
Corporate lingo. He gave me a job, and then they signed this paperwork and everything. And I said, "Oh yeah, like what am I even doing?" And basically, I was just like flux core welding these flanges on these pipes all day, and it was the easiest, simple job in the history of the world. And I did that for about a year, and it got boring. And then I was thinking about changing, getting a different job, and I got a call from industrial construction company up in what is that?
White or
Rydell,
Rydell,
Georgia,
that's what I was
Bartow
trying to
County, Georgia, Cherokee County, Bartow.
Maybe Bartow.
Yeah, Bartow County, and I hired in there. I was a shop, just a job shop welder guy for a little while, then ended up progressing into shop manager and did millwright type work and stuff like that. So,
and you left. Sorry to interrupt you. You left that job when?
I left that job two years ago in July.
And opened up your own spot. I mean, you're already helping UBT stuff, and we'll get into that. But you were obviously doing their stuff, car club stuff, doing your own stuff. You had Anna's stuff, and then you basically just said, "Hey, I'm gonna hang out my own shingle."
Yeah, it come a time like everybody always says, don't quit a 40-hour-a-week job and work an 80-hour-a-week job for half the money, which I did that like.
I'm finding out a little bit about that, but it's about me.
We went from making like good money, not to brag or anything, but I went to, I was working 40 hours plus a week at the day job, and then I was working 40 plus hours a week here in the shop. So, naturally you're going to make a pretty decent chunk of change. But then once you quit all that, now you're just working 80 hours a week in the shop for half the pay. So.
Well, I have to say you've done some really impactful stuff. And before I go through all of this, how many trucks you think you worked on in your house, or at our new shop, or at the old shop, or here that was related more to the UBT side of the house? Like, what's the number you think that would be? Like trucks that were ours, how many trucks you think that'd be?
Oh, probably 6 or 8.
Would it surprise you to know that it was 15?
Oh man!
Wow.
15.
Nice.
UBT K5, Brownie, Uncle Buck, your S10, the GSI chassis truck, Ruster, Teddy, Smokey, Mud, some Wagoneer stuff, Wesley stuff, Rick's truck, Big D, the 59. You and Wesley got the 59 running that time. Wesley's Red Square. And then, that's just stuff that I had a camera on. That's not Finnegan's Ram truck. That's not stuff that happened without a camera on it. There was way more than that.
Oh, yeah.
But 15, just right there, just looking back through videos, that's what I was able to come up with. That's impressive. That's impressive. Because we're talking in like a 4-year time frame. You remember the first time we met?
It was in your driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was working out of town. I was actually I was in Troy, Indiana, working a job, and Jeremy had texted me and said, "Hey, my buddy wants to talk to you about doing some chassis work on a Blazer," and I was like, "Okay, I'm working out of town,
Right.
What you want?" And then he said he gave you my number or something like that. Anyway, we ended up on the phone call, and I said, "Yeah, I could." We talked about UBT K5 and what you want to do with it and all this stuff. And you didn't know anything. You had like an idea of what you wanted to do. But not how to do it.
Yeah, you had an idea.
Like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's cool. Well, we got to do all this stuff. And you're like, what? Which is fun. It was a year thing. So when I got back in from being out of town, I went over your house and we talked about what you had to do. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was just a frame.
It was frame sitting on the trailer.
Yeah,
it was the two-wheel drive, 1980 two-wheel drive, factory two-wheel drive Blazer chassis, just sitting on a frame.
Yep.
Sitting on the trailer.
And then,
And the thing I remember, you immediately, and so the chassis was sitting on the trailer in my driveway, and the Blazer that was still fully four-wheel drive configured was sitting behind it in my carport.
Yeah.
You come over to look at the chassis, we talk about it, and we're both like, yes. And Mike immediately pulls out a tape measure and starts measuring wheelbase on that four-wheel drive chassis, and just starts like, getting the numbers going in his head, and I'm like, this is gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be all right with this. Like, this guy already knows. Like, I need to know what these measurements are. I need to start thinking about this. Like, you just, it wasn't like, all right, man, see you, bye. Shoot me a text next month or something. You were like already thinking about it. That impressed me.
I don't think the frame had any axles on it or anything.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, so I was like kind of...
No, you went to the four-wheel drive one.
Yeah, because I was like, how are we going to get the axle center and all that? So when we did UBT K5, it was frame rails. So I set the wheelbase and everything on it.
Yes, you
and it came out pretty good. So.
I think so too. I'm super proud of it. Even though it's not in the stable anymore, still super proud of it. And you actually did a lot of work to it recently.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you did.
Yeah.
And it's better than ever, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so we've already established that I heard about you for the first time. And I know this has a little bit of my slant just because of the way I'm, thinking about this. But we've already established that I heard about you for the first time through Churchill. Wesley was there, but it was at my old house when we were doing What's in My Driveway on Rustard.
Yeah.
And you flipped up that thing. Was it the battery cover?
Yeah,
I think it was a battery cover. You flipped it up and it said something like, it had Mike's face on it, or what does it say?
It was actually Phil's face.
Is it Phil's face? Okay. What does that say?
It says, it was Officer Phil approved.
Yeah.
Officer Phil approved.
Yeah.
Okay. But for some reason,
It had How's It Doing Garage at the bottom.
that's what it was.
Yes.
When you were telling me about who did the bed work.
Yep.
And you said Mike Howe, and you almost said it like I was supposed to know who that was. And I remember leaving us talking that day, like, man, I wonder who Mike Howe is. I need to figure out who that is because I didn't even know who it was.
So the truth is behind that is Mike was, we knew he was uberly talented with his stuff. Like,
Totally.
and he really hadn't done a lot that we had seen at that point because he'd not been here that long.
Yeah.
But the stuff I did see was impressive,
Yeah.
really impressive. And so in that video, Mike was becoming a good friend at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal not only was like, show off my truck a little bit. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Get to know you a little better. But
Yep.
I was like, I got to get this guy out.
Well, you're a huge. That's one thing about you is you're a huge ambassador for your friends and for people with talent.
I try
Like,
my
you
best,
will
yeah.
talk everyone up who deserves to be talked up. From my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real friend.
Yeah.
I mean, you put me onto him knowing what I was up to and what I was gonna end up needing.
Yeah.
For my goals, and it's just so cool that just that video, us doing that video together, is kind of what started us on this path.
Absolutely. If you guys go back and watch that video, you almost see where, like, I'm stumbling over the name of the garage. Because it was still up in the air at that point because he was wanting to be Evolution Fabrication. I was like, nah, it's How's It Doing Garage.
Well, on that topic, tell the abbreviated version of how that kind of came about.
So that was actually Phil Stroud. You guys
Yeah.
have seen him around a little bit probably. But you guys were dropping off a bed to Chad, the club president here in Georgia, for No Regrets. Mike had done some work on it. It obviously came out killer. And he was dropping it off, and Phil was being stupid Phil, like he always is, coming up with some crazy stuff. He was like...
I like to call it bamboozling with his words.
That is correct. Yeah. And he was like, he said something like, check out this he was being very animated. He was like, check out this killer bed work done by Mike at How's It Doing Garage. And that's literally where it came from. And when I saw that video, I went and made stickers that said How's It Doing Garage.
Yeah.
And we started putting it on everything, including my truck.
Yeah,
where
which
you
is how I saw it.
I
Yeah.
literally think I put that on like the day before.
Which and I do think it's clever because Mike's last name is spelled Howe.
Correct.
So it's and people try to call it Howie or anything else but How. And so I think it's a cool play on your actual last name.
Correct.
So transitioning to our first video together, and I can remember it so vividly I stood and faced the corner of your 2-car garage in your basement and filmed with the Blazer chassis behind me. Where you had, and you were, I think you were actually back there working, but I remember this so vividly, like just trying to get all the cool stuff that was happening in that 2-car garage behind me in the, in the frame, even while I'm doing intros and all this stuff. Do you have any idea when that was? Like what kind of date, what kind of time of year, anything that might make you think when that
Remember
was?
it was hot.
It's always hot in Georgia, man. It's hot right now, in fact. We're all sweating sitting here in the shop. It was September 29th, 2019.
Huh?
September 29th. So that means that this September would be 5 years. 5 years.
Man, we should all had masks on.
That's incredible.
Right at COVID.
Yeah, that's true. It was. It was right at COVID. It was actually into COVID.
Funny. You could probably edit this out, but
That's not. There's no editing anything out here.
if you go back to the first it's like the first or second video we did on UBT. We're still in the garage.
Yeah.
If you look on the wall in my garage, there's a set of fleshy truck nuts.
Yes.
On the video on
Yes.
YouTube, it's still hanging there. It's
So people started pointing that out in comments, but then y'all started saying you didn't notice all that was in the background. And I'm like, man, I get so narrowly focused when I'm filming this stuff, like on the subject. I don't even when I'm editing, I don't notice some of that stuff.
there's a story behind why those are there too.
I feel like we ought to hear it here for a second.
I think Phil has
Have
those
some
right
right
now.
now.
I think Aaron has them.
Oh, Aaron does have them. Yeah.
So every year we do like a friend's Christmas party. So I'll leave the name out, but we used to have a friend that used to get super mega upset because we do white elephant gifts, and he would get super like just upset, leaving in a temper tantrum if he got a gift that was just like funny satire gift. So one year he got like a poop emoji pillow. Got mad and left it there. Was mad. And then one year he got
I'm sure it's something we probably shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah. So the next year after he got frustrated, Phil come up with a great idea. He was like, I'm gonna get a set of these truck nuts, and I'm gonna pay. I think he paid like some lady at Macy's or something like that to put this like $50 worth of wrapping on it. So
Is this true, Evan?
Yeah, 100%.
This is so ridiculous.
So it like the package looked like it had like
It was
the Hope Diamond in it.
Yeah.
Like it looked crazy.
Whoever's opening this is like getting something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's
So we-
$100 worth of wrapping paper on this thing.
We put all the gifts out there and everything, and he gets it's his turn. He picks that gift, opens it up, and he's like, what the?
Write it down.
So every year, whoever gets, so now every year we re-wrap them up and put them back in the pot. And every time somebody gets them, the next year they have to bring it back.
I like it.
And read it. So every year somebody ends up with them, and they have to hold on to them for a year.
It's getting re-gifted. I
Yeah.
like it. And you say was?
Well, the funny thing was they came with a keychain.
Oh yeah.
So Phil naturally kept the keychain. So here we go to Maggie Valley for mini nats, and we're going to breakfast. Phil sets his keys on the table. We have breakfast. We have a good old time. We leave. We walk out. Phil's like, "Where's my keys?" And here comes the waitress.
Oh,
You left your keys on the
carrying these things.
You left your keys on the table.
Yeah, buy the keychain. She was only like she had the keys in her hand, and the keychain was just hanging. She was,
this girl had to be 17.
yeah, she,
Like, all right,
Or
not
something.
touching
Like
that.
she was not.
But I gotta get this guy's keys back.
yeah.
It was unfortunate.
So we did our first video September 29th, 2019. Obviously, we had met before. I couldn't quite pin down exactly that day that you came over and talked. We talked in the driveway. I was really trying to pin that down. I couldn't. But do you remember when we got our first shop together?
When it was January 1st, 2020.
I mean, you nailed it. That's it.
Nice.
So we did our first video together in September, and what is that? A few months later, we got our first shop together, and it was a little 2,400 square foot little spot, kind of like what I'm in now, down there.
I liked that first shop. Yeah.
Me too.
It was small.
Me
It was-
too.
I mean, this is nice because it's more room. But
Well, and it gives Mike a way to really express,
Correct,
like,
correct.
and show his skills. It takes this size.
it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely a cool spot.
I liked it too. I mean, it made me really feel like we were breaking through. So we got our first shop January of 2020. We're sitting here in May of 24. How many videos you think you've been in? How many UBT videos you think you've been in? That's not counting you filmed all sorts of stuff for HIDG and Pancake, but I'm just specifically UBT. It surprised me.
Maybe 20, 25?
No, man. 67.
Holy cow!
Wow.
Do you know that is 20% of all UBT videos?
Oh, wow.
Even, build profiles that I go do off on my own, shop stuff, like, you've been in 20% of the videos to this day.
Oh, wow.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah. Very cool.
Another cool statistic, 67 videos, how many views do you think that's accounted for?
Move.
How many did you lose because of mine?
Yeah. How many views did I lose because of my... Just kidding.
That's just the infinity symbol there.
Yeah. So you don't even have to guess. 2 million.
Wow.
2 million views over those 67
That's
videos.
incredible.
2 million people
Which,
look at you.
for our size channel, that's impressive, in my view.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I look at these numbers. I don't, stay in them.
Right,
but,
right.
Going back and looking at some of this stuff, I was like, man, this is a big impact.
That was like
You know?
2 people that watched 1 million times.
Yeah.
I usually just put it on repeat.
Phone. Is that what it is? Yeah, we're just all. There's only 6 of us watching all this, folks. There's only 6 of us. We talked about trucks, but yeah, I think 67 videos, 15 trucks over really about 4.5 years. Not quite 5 yet. That's impactful to me. I think it's very cool, and it just makes me. Going back through and looking at them made me appreciate our time together more. And it really showed me, like, man, we've done a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
A bunch of cool stuff. Not just here in this shop, not just in our other shop, but road trips, stuff like that where we all get our trucks out and go. That's one of my favorite things, everybody knows, but, like, it was so much fun when we all got to do that together.
Oh, yeah.
Like LST trips.
Sure.
Yeah, it was the LST 23?
23.
Yeah. We all everybody brought a truck, drove a truck. The whole vendor booth was all our trucks. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Very cool.
And we're going to do that again. We're going to, Michigan, that distance ain't going to stop.
See, so here's the thing. Mike's gonna have to. He's gonna put it in the container because it's gonna be snowy up there. It can't get all salty.
Well, I've seen the place he bought. He's got a pretty good place to stash some stuff.
It has a silo.
I'm just saying, he's got.
It does have a
some
silo. You want to talk a little bit about that? Like, is that okay to even say?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, he's not bragging, but I want him to talk about how cool his spot is in Michigan.
Yeah, we we sold our house down here, and property values are a little bit more down here, obviously, in the metro Atlanta area. So we're able to get a lot more in Michigan, so for a lot less. So we bought a nice 2,000 square foot ranch on 10 acres with 3-car garage, and then it has a big shop off to the side, and then it's got a grain silo.
This is my favorite part.
And it's got a big feed barn.
This part.
For running livestock and stuff in it, which I'm not sure. I don't even have any idea what I'm going to do with any of it. But
isn't half of that paved? Like, is it
Yeah,
half of it concrete
yeah, so it's
inside
like-
the livestock?
yeah, it's like a 60 by 80, and half of it is concrete, half of it's dirt because you can run livestock in it and stuff.
I feel like we just all got, like, storage.
Yeah.
Like, we could run some trucks down through there.
Yeah, 10 acres of land, you get a lot of.
Oh, it's covered, man. The barn, 60 by 80, half of it's concrete.
Yeah.
They don't even have to sit outside.
A lot of stuff though, Robbie. You got a lot
Us, collectively,
Yeah.
especially that one in the middle there.
couple thousand square foot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're kind of running up on time here. We've all got to kind of get busy moving. Mike's I wouldn't say almost, but you have done a ton in here to really kind of get this whipped into shape so that you can move later this month. I'm moving out of my end down there and bringing it all back to closer to home. And I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little nostalgic about all this. I don't know. I just think I know what it's like to want to be near home or to be in a place. I'm fortunate that I get to be near where I grew up. I can't imagine, living this far away from home. So totally get, why you want to go back. And I'm super excited for you, man. I think it's, fresh starts are great.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to get one. Move a long way away from your friends.
For sure.
You get rid of us though.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I would say that, if anything, UBT is going to maybe become a little more on the road.
Yeah.
And you're going to see us do a little more, maybe from, UBT Michigan.
Yeah.
And HITG Michigan.
Yeah.
And PCB Michigan.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, we gotta go play in the snow sometime.
yeah,
We
you
don't
might
get
be
enough snow up here.
you might be leaving
Yeah.
us, physically, but you're not getting rid of us.
No, that was never the plan. It wasn't even anything I even thought of. Obviously I thought, didn't want to leave my friends and all that.
Yeah.
But no, it isn't. I'm going to move up to the middle of nowhere and forget about anybody.
No,
I don't think that's an option anyway.
No, it's
But,
not.
every now and again, you just got to kind of leave your comfort zone. That's when you really start to prosper. If you just sit around and be complacent all the time on what's going on, like you're just going to exist.
Yeah.
So every now and again, you just got to kind of mix it up a little bit. So,
Dude, what a perspective.
Absolutely.
I mean, for real. That's probably why you've done so well with everything you put your hands on.
yeah, if you want to freak out, put a different perspective on life, just pack everything up, move 15, 16 hours away.
Yeah, whether it was moving from Michigan to here and then coming here and doing a thing, like doing a very dedicated thing for years and doing it well, and then moving back.
Yeah.
After you planted these roots.
Yeah, when I lived in Michigan, I was just a shop hand in a welding shop, and granted, I was moving up that ladder at the shop I worked at, but that was the path for me.
Yeah.
And I never would have guessed in a million years I would have moved out here and opened up my own shop and worked on, like, someone would actually pay me money
To build their stuff.
because
Yes.
to me, I know how hard money has come by, and I'd like someone to give me their money to
Yeah.
work on their stuff. Like that's absurd.
Well, let's talk about the real thing. Like, people know your trucks. When you go to shows, people know who you are, whether you know them or not. And that's an awesome thing. I think that is super awesome for all of us. I love that part of it. And it really goes to show what kind of impact you're making on the people who are sitting at home watching this right now, or who might be watching it in the future. Because you got to think about it, those 67 videos that you were a part of, helped lead. Just maybe we're only in for 2 or 3 minutes. Like, those still live on the internet. They are there. They're not going anywhere. And I'm proud of that. I want to look back in UBT history and see it and recognize it like that. Because all this, while we are having a lot of fun, it is important. It's important to me.
For sure.
So I appreciate you, man. I really do. You have changed my life. You've changed the course of our passion collectively, and I know you've meant a lot to these dudes. And on that note, you guys want to share, like, maybe a favorite UBT memory with Mike? You got one of those you can lay out there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Churchill.
So, you may not like this one, right?
No, man, you hit it
I've
up.
got to go.
I'm sure it's going to make me look terrible, but
No.
please.
So, my favorite memory is back when we kind of knew Mike well at this point, and Robbie was just kind of getting to know him. It was during the UBT K5 build.
Yes.
We went to Tequila one night. You may not remember this, but I think you were there as well, but it may not have been you. But I know for sure it was me, Mike, and Robbie. And
The little Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, tequila
over here.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I do remember that.
we went
when you
there.
said tequila, I was like,
no, I didn't go to Tequila.
yeah, I got you. I'm with you now. I forgot
The little
that was
Mexican
the name of
restaurant.
that place.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you said something, and Mike said, "You're so dumb, Robbie." And just normal banter he does nonstop,
Yeah.
And you were like,
And I'll be honest with you,
Very taken
I
back.
couldn't remember at that time the last time somebody called me dumb.
"That's correct." That's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
what you said. That was exactly what you said. You looked at him and was like, "I can't remember anybody ever calling me dumb." And he's like, "Well, you're dumb."
Which is Mike's way of saying I love you.
Correct.
Very
And it cracked me up, just the interaction, because now at least 4 times a day he calls you dumb.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. And any ego, I'm sitting here talking about being liked, or
Right.
people liking our trucks and whatever. But yeah, any ego that you have, it gets checked at that door when you walk
Absolutely.
in here.
Absolutely.
Mike ain't gonna let no egos. No egos.
It would just cracked me up how he introduced you to Mike.
Yeah. Just by
that day.
calling me dumb.
Yes. It was great. That was I think that was the best memory that wasn't on camera.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I mean,
What
that's
about you?
Mike's typical.
I mean, it is
You're so
Mike.
dumb.
That is just how he,
I mean, in my defense, he did buy 6 lug wheel spacers for Bud. and then he handed because we had to put 3/16 wheel spacers on the front of Mud to
Yeah.
clear something.
the brakes.
Yeah, and he hands them to me, says, "Hey, here's them wheel spacers," and then walks out the door and goes home. And I look at the package, and there's 6 lug wheel spacers, and I just threw them on the ground. I was like, "This dude is so dumb."
Just busy. Just busy.
Yes.
Got a lot going on.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with these.
Yeah, nothing. Put them on the shelf, save them for later.
In fairness, a few of us don't think Robbie's dumb.
No,
Just a few.
Yeah.
There might be 2 people in this room, Mike and my wife's behind the camera.
Hey man, if you watch Robbie's YouTube videos and then you watch my YouTube videos, there's things that Robbie does really well, and then
Amen.
there's things that I do.
That's
Amen.
right.
Okay.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
We're all
Well, and
great at
it-
everything.
I completely agree with that. If anything, we all try to operate off everybody's
Oh yeah.
expertise, everybody's skills. Like, you did what you do best. I did what I do best. You do what when we're in here, especially for build focused stuff, that is the thing I think that helped us gel so much. It wasn't that I needed to go focus on something I couldn't do well. It was we had the right people and the right person who could go do that thing, and then we each of us just complimented each other, across the.
I agree. Yeah. So,
And I think that's how we were able to get stuff done so quickly. We left egos at the door, and we all just focused on what we can do to get it done, and get it done the best quality way, or maybe not even always the best quality way, but just in the time frame that I'm, sometimes unfairly put on this situation.
And I've worked around a ton of people in all of my jobs, and even in the shop, I used to have a bunch of friends from Michigan, all that stuff. We'd do stuff in the shop, and there'd be some heat.
Yeah.
Every now and again, you get in some heat,
Yeah.
and we've never had that.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
I'm a yeller. When I get mad,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I'm a yeller.
the time.
No.
well, we have.
I'm a yeller, and we've never. There's been some disagreements.
And there's been tension, but we've never
had an issue.
Never. And something I talk about, at least, not on camera, but I have a temper and I'm trying to work on controlling it. But we have never come to blows in any way, shape, or form. No. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad to hear you bring that up and say it that way. Yeah. Because it's true. Like, even
with any of the guys.
It's true.
Yeah. Wesley,
Yeah.
Trey, you,
Yep.
Patrick on the other hand.
Rick. Come on, Rick.
I'll slap the heck out of Patrick.
Patrick, take a little slap and he can take it. He can take it.
I'm just kidding.
Speaking of good memories, Wesley.
So I think one of my favorite memories is, I typically come over to the shop every Monday afternoon on the way home from work, hang out, we do whatever we're doing. And then, but the particular day that you brought Mud.
Yeah. That's my second favorite memory. But I know where you're going. Yeah.
And you brought it, I remember you pulled it up, because I think it was back there on the trailer already.
Yep.
And you said, hey, I'm going to pull this truck up and let's look at it.
Yep.
And you tell me what you
Because I was starting to realize how bad it was.
And you were going to film Mike's reaction.
That's right. I did. I filmed both of y'all's reaction. It's on the internet.
And
y'all gave it to me straight.
yeah.
But that was after, I'll be honest with you, I think that might have even been after Mike said, look, man, I got your back on everything.
Yeah.
But this might be a little much. Like,
Right.
you probably don't want to get in this situation again. And he's like, you really want to build this thing? And I said, I kind of do. I'm already pretty well baked on this thing. If you're in, let's go, and I won't do it to you again.
Well,
And he said, I'm in.
We did it in a month.
Yeah, in 35 days. 35
He's
days.
like, we can't do it.
From the time the first, and I got to give you guys credit. Like, I went out of town right after I bought that truck, and I come home and that truck was not all together.
Well,
you
we
know,
tore
like
it down
y'all
Sunday
got
afternoon.
started.
We did, yeah.
That
Y'all
whole truck
got on
got
it.
tore down completely to the frame, to the rails.
And people may beat me up at home for something like that, but that really goes to our friendship and like
Well, we all
just initiative. Well, you obviously knew it was going to take some time.
Well, yeah, we knew. Like, no, not to blow up Robbie here, but like, I wasn't even in the state of Georgia when you posted a reel of the truck. I
bringing
wasn't
the
even.
truck. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I was in Michigan or something at the time, and he posted a reel of the truck, and I was a time zone away, and I could tell from Instagram that that thing was a piece of junk.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, oh man, and
I got
remember.
Patina happy. That was it.
I remember calling
my
him
goggles
on the
on.
phone, and I said, "Hey, man, we're gonna have to talk about this.
I do
When I
remember
get
that.
back home, we're gonna have to chat about what's going on here." Because I think it was like September. You had posted that reel and said, "We're driving this to Dino's," and I'm like, "September."
God, this does make me look bad because that means I didn't even check with you before I put that out.
I didn't even know. I had no idea. And I was like, "Dude, that's only like."
3 months away.
That's no, because Dino's in the beginning of November, so it was like 2.
Yeah.
It was
I
like,
think it was bought in August, though,
Yeah, I was
right?
about to say you bought it.
You
in
wasn't
August.
But we didn't turn the first wrench until
Right.
Correct.
until September or
Into
something, or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So when I come home, I don't remember where it was even at. I knew I wasn't here, but I come home. Me and Wesley walked out back, looked at it. You drug it up here. And I already knew that.
Yeah, you already knew what your
I
opinion
knew
was
that-
going to be.
Yeah, I knew the S storm that was about to happen. And
I think that truck peed out rat
yeah,
and
dude, there was
Rat
that thing had
crap.
more brown recluse spiders than I've ever seen in my whole entire life in one area of that truck. It's not.
the pillars just kept coming out.
I mean, that's
Kept
true.
coming out.
That's true.
And I made that reel on my Instagram the other day where it shows where I was taking the floor out.
Yes.
That if you want to go to my Instagram and look at that reel,
It
you
almost made me
see
cry.
the floor in that, and you could tell how bad that truck was.
And I looked at that and thought, man, I really do have some good friends. Because you stepped up big time. And now look, I mean, that truck, for what anybody wants to say, especially about how hard we worked to get that done, that's become a flagship truck for UBT.
Yeah, no, it came
That,
out.
I mean,
that one probably is my favorite. I like mine.
I get more comments, likes, like actual comments from people in person. People love that truck, man. You took something, and it's because of the shape that it was in, and we all got together and really took it to something that, that is worth being on the road.
Well, you figure, I mean, like you said, we built that truck in 35 days. I mean, I'll say this about Mike's shop. If it wasn't family friendly, nothing would ever get done.
That's
Because, I
true.
mean, like, my
We
wife,
all, I mean, my
both
daughter's
my
sitting
kids,
right there.
Robbie's family, Jeremy's
But y'all's
family,
two,
all come over
your
here.
sets of kids would be here all the time.
We spent
all
a
the
lot of time in here, I mean,
Yeah.
especially when mud. I mean, 35 days, and it's not like we were here for a day here,
Yeah.
a day there. I mean, it was like go to work, come home, work
and
on
you're
it, you know.
here.
Yeah.
And they
For
would just
35
come here
days
and
straight.
just hang out.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, even Heather. I mean, Heather had a lot of time herself in that thing.
Yeah, especially working on the interior
Yeah,
and all
she,
that stuff.
she
for
did
sure.
pretty much all the sound deadener in it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's true.
that's very cool.
Well,
I mean, of course, it was fun for us too. Like, as
Oh yeah.
a couple just coming over here, hanging
Yeah.
out, working on your truck. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate it.
For sure.
I
We know
can't
that.
let this moment go by without thanking everybody in here, even my wife who helped finance it and put up with all the time I was gone. But that is our mark. That is one of our. I mean, we have one of our marks right here. Like we've torn this truck apart twice now as a unit, and built it back to something that, while it doesn't have any rust repair like mud does, it can do everything else. I mean, everything else has been touched on this truck by us. And that's something I'm super proud of, because this is the original flagship truck. Mud is just kind of,
Yeah, I think you were driving that truck when I first met you.
yeah. I've had that truck since 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have us four right here in particular, have touched almost every bolt on that truck since that time. I want to say we need to wrap up here. We're running pretty long on time, but I want to say that my favorite memory, and nobody's going to remember this because most of you weren't here. Mike was the only one here, and Mike may not even remember it, but it was when we were redoing Teddy. We were bagging it. We were doing the React stuff in the rear. I think we were switching control arms, just really cleaning it up, making it a better truck. Excuse me. and it was up on the lift right here, and Mike was working on something else right here, and I was just hanging, trailing arms, and he would come help me when I needed a hand, you know, that sort of thing. But my favorite memory is you just letting me come in here, and we split this shop. So, I mean, I guess it's important to know, like, we came from the other shop together. We had this shop, and then I moved down to the end to really let you, to try to help your business to grow even more. Like, stop taking up space in here. But we were in here working together, and I was working on my truck, and it was kind of like Mike just giving me the reins to do the things I know how to do. Like, just go do that. I'm here for you, to support you, but go do what you can do, man. Make this truck better. I'm going to work on this, and then you need my help, let me know. And like that meant a lot to me, because we ended up in those situations quite a bit. And even more so, you are Mr. Fix-It. We all know, like, me, Jeremy, Wesley, anybody, Trey, we can all be struggling with something, just like we were on that OBS. Remember that, Churchill?
I do.
Trying to get stock control arms out.
Yeah.
And Mike walks up, and they just fall out of the truck. It's just like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It happened last night when I was trying to get the center caps on these wheels. Just stuff like that. Mike has this ability to just get things done, and it just happens. And I appreciate you stepping up when that needed to happen. But I also appreciate you empowering me to get in there and just do it more myself, and try to handle the things I could on my own. So I appreciate that, man. That's one of my favorite memories. So just hanging these trailing arms on this truck. I think you were working on Anna's car, I think is what it was. We just had the car pulled in here, and the truck was on the lift, and you can even see it in the video. It's just me and you in here working. I'm hanging trailing arms, and you come over and help me get them up and like make sure everything was set. And yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going to miss you, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to miss these shop days too.
But I'll only miss knowing that I can just ride out here and know that you'll be here or you'll be at home. I know that you're not going anywhere.
Well, this is the way Mike's like our grandmother, or we'll call him our grand. This is like coming over our grandparents' house, right?
Yeah,
It's in the middle of everybody, so we all
That's
just
true.
come over here,
Yeah.
have fun, we pull out the table, we put food out,
Yeah.
we eat, we work on trucks. That's the thing I'm gonna miss the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Just, I mean, like, Jeremy's house is close, and Aaron and Trey and all that, but it's just like this was the center point of everything.
It's true.
And you just
Yeah,
come
that
back.
will change for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of get-togethers here. A lot of get-togethers. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, working on something and saying, hey, what are we going to do for dinner?
Yeah.
And then the wives just go out, get something, spread it out on the table,
Here it is.
sit down on the spinny chair.
Yeah. During the build times, it was pizza all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Lots of hot dogs and pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the grill out back. We always,
I know the grill was the key. People still
Yeah.
comment about that grill.
Yeah.
They still
The one
comment.
with
Y'all got it
gas
set up. Y'all in there working, and you got a propane grill ready to fire up at any moment.
Yeah, we caught a lot of flack when I spray painted mud parts up.
Yes, I did too. Though. I did too. Like, it's just the outside. The inside's still good.
So I dug that grill out of the dumpster, people. Calm down. It's a dumpster grill.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I don't know
right.
why it still works, but it does.
And it definitely did. Well, Mike, appreciate you, man. You
Thanks,
made a
man.
huge impact on my life, on this channel. I know on their lives too, and just really thankful for you, man.
I appreciate
your
it.
friendship.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't going nowhere, but yeah.
You're going to Michigan. right?
Yeah.
You are going somewhere.
Far.
It'll be like I'm here,
I don't know.
Every time I look at one of these vehicles, I'll think about you, and then I'll think about how this simple task has taken me 3 days when Mike could have done it in 30 minutes.
I mean, it's just like the other day you pulled up, the Jeep was making a little bit of noise. I went over and looked at it.
Oh,
Like, I don't know what
dude.
that is. You were like, I don't know where it is. Mike walks up and goes, it's that pulley rubber right
Yeah.
there. You need that spacer out. Where's the other motor at?
Yeah. So I think the bracket's over there.
I mean, just
And,
like that.
and then within 20 minutes, the thing's fixed, and I'm driving it home.
Yep.
Yeah, Robbie gets pretty temper tantrum in a hurry.
Things don't
So
I do. Things don't go right, I start getting nervous.
I was like, and
Or I
then
start getting, not nervous, I start getting,
flustered.
Flustered,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like to it either goes one or two ways when that happens. I either calm him down or I escalate the situation.
but not so much where we've ever even had an argument.
No,
I mean, I do think that's
if we
so
weren't
cool.
gonna stab each other in the face over mud, I don't think
That's right. That would have been the time.
That would have been the
right?
one. Yeah,
That would have been the one.
Yeah.
I was
All
in
right.
here.
Well, we're gonna cut it off here. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man.
We made it. Look at this. Mike's new place. Mike's silo. Mike's barn. Mike's little shed. We're standing on the roof of something. I mean, it's pretty wild out here.